Good morning. Welcome back to the shop. Well, today my little project is I picked up a bunch of brass cutoffs, all different sizes, and when I was looking at it, I'm like, what can I make with that? First thing that came in my mind is a hammer with instead of with removable faces. So there's the body, and then I can make faces. Got studs, so put that hammer away. So I can take studs, screw them in there, Loctite them to the head, then make thinner faces and thicker faces, and maybe grab some plastic, some rubber, some Delron, and make some soft faces. And I'm not sure what to handle yet, but I never buy stuff for little toys. I just see what I have laying around. I got this spike. It's like a solid spike. Holes drilled in it. I think it's for fencing. It's a nice weight. I got a 1/2 inch round cold rolled stock, which I think is a little too thin, but I'm a woodworker too, so I'm thinking about using the smaller 1/2 inch round stock and making a wooden handle for the grip part of it. So I'll see what I come up with. I'm going to make the head first. The head comes out nice. Then I'll decide on the handle, but that's the stuff I have. Let me set up the machine to do. Basically, I'm going to drill and tap the head and the faces, and then once it's screwed all together, then I'll machine something, get something fancy on the body, nothing crazy, and decide on the handle. I'll bring you back. Alrighty. Yeah, with the new machine, you always buy a new tool in the setup, so I had this little cute chuck, and I figured I'd upgrade to this monster. So it's always good to have choices. Little center drill, I'll probably just keep that chucked up, and this will be my go-to monster drill chuck now. So just new tools for the setup. Let me continue on here. I'll be right back. Alrighty, I found another good spot for the camera finally, so it's not in my way. So I have to get used to shooting from this direction. But probably should slow the machine down, but we'll see how this goes. Still new to this machine, like brand new. You only get to know how to use a machine by using it, so that's what I'm doing. This is a 5/16 drill bit, and you tap with a 3/8 stud. So, The only good tap size in American is 3/8 because it's a 5/16 drill bit, nice and easy. All the rest is usually some funky size. But that's America. That's what studs I had in stock. I went hunting through the drawers, and I was hoping for quarter 20. But I was going to take just bolts and cut them down to size. Cut off the heads and make them studs, but I had 3/8 studs in stock. Just enough reach to get through. That's what I like about this new lathe, the tailstock. I think it's almost 3 inches of travel. So, for me, that's a huge improvement. I think my other lathe, the little Atlas, was like 1 7/8, if that, 1 3/4. So, it was miserable. But, hey, you work with what you got. So, that's that. Let me set up for tapping. I'll be back. Okay, I'm going to try to do a little automatic tapping here. See how it works out. Almost screwed it up, but I didn't. That was close. So not the correct head. Just left the tailstock loose and chucked the tailstock taper not engaged in the slot. So it would self-feed and self-release. That. Beautiful. Flip it around, do the other side. That time pulled the piece out of the chuck a little bit. I don't have it snug on there. I'd rather have something move than break. I think that's all I needed. A little bit more. I know I could do this by hand, probably just as quick, but I'm playing. Learn the machine a bit. And that second time was a lot better than the first time, so that's what I mean by just playing and learning. Of course, on the face ends, I'll definitely hand tap because I don't want to break through. So those are going to be tough because I don't have a blind tap either. So I'll work with what I got. That's why I'm using the thicker ones. I was going to use the thinner ones, but I don't have the correct tap. I should run out and get one, but I don't want to. So I'll use the thicker ones. Do your own tap, then I can always face it if they're too big. So, but that tapping went good. We're just playing. I don't care about getting some marks on the edges. I know once I have it all screwed together, I'm going to machine it so it's nice and even with the heads. But the tap ends are good all the way through. For not having a tapping head, just let the machine do the work. So I'll bring you back. Alright, bring you back for a drone of the faces. I'm going to try to go in about 9/16 of an inch, the 5/16 drill bit. Got my tail stalks set up for the measurement here. Someday I want to put a better scale on it. I'll make one. I've seen a few on YouTube that you guys have done. Using the good old dial at the back. It should be deep enough, hopefully. And these I'll definitely hand tap. Hopefully I can get enough tap in there without having a bottom tap. I hope if I had everything set up before I turn the camera on, but I'm not used to this camera thing either. Good thing is it's brass. It's easy to work with. And this week I finally got this lathe mounted permanently and leveled and adjusted. I got down to 7/10,000ths of an inch over 5 inches of travel, and it took way longer than it should, but it was way out because I had to basically disassemble the lathe and the whole machine to bring it up to the shop. So, and I don't think it was probably set up perfectly anyways. They never are. So it was a process to get this thing milling perfectly, and I did a piece of round bar brass. It was like 6 inches long. I chucked it, didn't even, check it, just chucked it, turned it one side, recorded the measurement on the dial, and flipped it around and just turned it to the same measurement on the dial, then took it off and measured it. It was within 2/10 of perfect. I mean, 2/10, and that was no setting up, just flipping it back and forth. So I was very impressed with the repeatability of the chuck, because I did set the chuck up when I first got it. I got the chuck perfectly centered. I think I couldn't even read a tenth on it. It took me a while, but I wanted to get that done. So I got this lathe pretty good. I stuffed through the mill. I got a nice tramming setup coming, so I can do that, because I know that's going to be, it's a combination machine. If you can't see by the video here, there's the mill in right here. But it's pretty good size. It's from the spindle of the mill to the columns, 11, almost 12 inches, 11 inches and change, and then it's over 12 inches to the table. So it's a big working. The lathe has a 20-inch spread, but 17 and almost 18 inches of working area with the chuck on and everything. So it's not a huge machine, but it has a lot of space to work on. And the chuck, it's a 16-inch swing on the chuck, so I mean, you can really, if you want to chuck something up big, you have to get a bigger chuck, of course. This is only a 5-inch, but someday I'll get 6, 8, and you can swing a lot. So, but that's one head. Worked out exactly how I was hoping it was going to work out. And I'll either bring it back for the other one. I probably will film it. I might not include it, because it's just repeatability, but whatever one comes out better. But this one worked out perfect, so I'll be back. Alright, bring it back for hammerhead number 2. See how this one goes. Hopefully just as easy as the first one, but about 9/16 in, 5/16 drill bit. Not even center drilling, it's brass. I'm gonna fade after I finish facing drilling, tapping all the pieces. I'm gonna face them all and screw them together and machine them. So hopefully you won't be able to even see where they screw together. That's my plan, but you never know how the thread's screwing. You might have to adjust the studs a little bit. But I want to make it so you can't even see the seams. But if you do, then I'll probably machine little bevels around the seams to make it look like I meant that. And that's my little trick I'll use. So, oh yeah, I meant to do that. Make it look good. I don't even know what I'm going to do with this. It could be a nice plain simple head. I could try to get fancy with it. I really have no idea. That's how most of my projects go. I just go. I'm not doing it for anything more than a useful tool. So as long as it works, I'm happy. But you always want it to look good. Not too concerned. Another brass ended hammer I made. I just made basically a face for a regular hammer. I'll see if I can find that around here and show you. Just an idea I came up with and it worked out good. There's that hole. There it is. Right where I put the hammer, I'm looking for it. I made a hanging spot for it. But This is a nice hammer. It's a full metal body hammer handle. Someone made this. I bought it at a flea market type deal. And I don't know if they made the head, but they definitely made the handle. And I just took it's a brass pipe plug, bored it on the inside and pinned it on so it's replaceable. So that's my brass hammer that I made, and this one will probably take that one's place, but I like that one because it's heavy. It's a solid steel hammer, so it's very heavy. So I'll tap this hole by hand. I like working with brass. It's nice. Machine's easy. But I don't come across a lot of it because it's expensive. But I couldn't pass up this deal that I got, so. This tap set I'm using is a Matco Tools tap set. I'm a mechanic by trade, and I bought this tap set. It was probably one of my biggest purchases. It's a full metric American tap and die, the big set. I don't know how many pieces, but see if I can swing the camera over. But I bought this probably 25 years ago, and there's only been 2 or 3 taps replaced. And I've, using automotive, it's always steel and cast iron, some aluminum here and there, but I mean mostly exhaust manifold, broken studs and heads, but those are mostly aluminum heads. But it's been a great little tap set, but it is just the basic tap. No starters, no flats. The quality's there. Like I say, it was made way back in the day. But I like it. I always say I'm going to buy the quick little 3-piece tap sets of the popular size, but nowadays it's really no popular size. It's, especially in America, it can be metric, standard, give me anything. But, I'll swing over to the table here. Big red box. That's a tap set. Let me say it's old. So there's all the pieces all drilled and tapped. Now let me face all these parts. I have to set up the lathe to do some facing, and I'll face them all, then I'll screw them together, and I'll bring you back. Hey, I'm bringing you back in the middle. Let's not turn on the camera. I'm just facing the front here. And like I say, I'm still learning this machine. I love it. It has power crossfeed. Never had that before in my life. So I'm trying add another tool holder from another lathe that I'm trying, and just playing with different bits. This is high speed, blank, just ground to a point, centered. It's not going to give me the best finish. I should speed it up a little bit more, but I'm just playing, learning the handles, where they are, what they do. But I'm running at, very slow, probably a couple hundred RPMs. That's what I was just using for drilling and tapping. But I'm just facing off a 2-inch piece of brass, so I can watch it. That's one face. Let me see. That's good enough finish for me. It's going to be the side that's bolted together, so it doesn't matter, but I should have deburred that. I forgot. Not going for perfection here because I'm going to just bolt it together and machine it again. Little teeny face cut. A little lube, try to get a better finish. Plus it's a hammer, so it's going to get beat up anyways. But I'm very happy with this setup. Like this tool holder, I don't even know what machine it came off of. Blow the dust out of this. It was next to my drilling, my drill press. This cross slide, I thought it was for my Seneca Falls lathe, so I cleaned it, restored it, got all nice and pretty. Then I found out it wasn't for the Seneca Falls lathe that I restored. So I just was looking at it one day. I'm like, geez, that looks like I have a bunch of these tool bit holders. I'm like, I wonder if that would fit on this lathe. And then it's because it has the adjustable slide here, pivot. It worked out perfect. So I'm playing with it. I got the 4 post holder that came with it, but this is, I have to make some shims, but this was a homemade parallel that I had, but you have to shim everything to get the height. The 1/2-inch bits, you have to just grind off the face just a little bit to bring it down. I mean, very little, but you have to do some work to get it set up perfectly. Like I say, on the next size down, you have to shim it, so it's a pain. I want to get one of the quick change tool holders that you can adjust each tool on the holder, but I've spent too much money on tooling already on this machine that I don't have. So I'm trying to work with what I got. I got a lot of high-speed blanks, so I figured if I can get these bits working. I have this bigger one that I'd already done a little machine into, but I have to machine a little bit more so I can get that centered. So I can use that one. I have this one, which is an adjustable head that you can position. That will work out good, but I have to do a lot of work to get that one to work. So little things like that I'm just playing with. This one worked good. So I'm happy with it. That's my first time using it. I just set it up last night. And yeah, good enough for me. Good enough for my government work. So we'll do the other ones here. It's all going to just be put the studs in, screw it together, and I'll turn it down and do something fancy. See how I like the look. These are rough cutoffs. Whatever saw they're using, it's a very nice. You can tell it's a bandsaw, but you can tell it's very nice. It's pretty square cuts. Leaves a nice, pretty finish. So whatever they cut it with was a pretty good piece of equipment. I'll do one little cut, but that looks pretty good. Let's take a 1/10 off. Zoom in here. Yeah. Can't see anything. Helps to look at the camera every once in a while. There you go. I can see a little bit. Yes, I'm wearing gloves, but if you notice, I never put my hand next to the spinny thing. And that's the secret to wearing gloves. You don't put your hand next to the thing that's spinning, like using sandpaper or a file or a deburr, then you don't have to worry about your hands getting caught in the spinny thing. So that's my theory on gloves. If I was sanding something or deburring something, I'd take the gloves off. I'm not. I'm a foot away from the spinny thing. And you see, I always shut it off when I'm doing something. So, safety first. Got my glasses on. Got no loose clothing on. Standing on nice comfortable mats. Face cut here, little, skin cut. Dropping the hammer. Show you the saw cut. It's pretty good. Pretty good clean cut. Making my life a lot easier. touched off. I still haven't decided what I'm going to use for a handle yet, so I'm just winging it as I go. I like the idea of making a wooden handle, you know, using a half-inch round steel shaft and making a wooden handle. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to go with, but I might make two. I might take that other piece of thicker metal that I have and make a handle with that. I'm not sure how I'm going to attach it yet. I like to drill a hole and pin it in there, because then you don't have to worry about it coming loose. You can thread it. Brass, steel, hammer, it's gonna bang up the thread, so probably a drilled hole and pin it in there. Always, you know, Loctite it together, pin it, and you can always take it apart if you have to. So that's probably the route I'll go. That's my preferred way. I could also thread, you know, drill another set instead of pinning it using one of these 3/8 studs, because it has an Allen head on one end, so I could screw it in there, you know, put it together, tap it, screw it all together. So, might do that. Don't know. Don't care. I'll figure it out. This is just for fun. Oh. Alexa's talking back to me.
Live from NPR News in Washington, I'm Child.
For some reason my Alexa just started up, so hold on 1 second. Computer! Stop! I don't know why that started up. Did I say computer? Every once in a while it listens to you. This side's a little bit off. Skin, I'll be happy. I'll install the studs. I'll Loctite them, you know, once final installation. I'll Loctite them to the head, so the studs will stay in the head. And that's when you have to get exact, not measurements, but you have to adjust it so it sits nice and flush when you screw it together, so that'll take a little bit, maybe not, but I'll bring you back for the next step. Alrighty, I'll bring you back. Alrighty, I'll bring you back. The battery died, of course. I didn't know. So, made the handle. It's just a cut off piece that I polished up. Drilled and beveled some holes to make it look fancy. I have a end board for the head. Very rough, coarse bore. I meant to do that because it's going to be a press fit with Loctite. And I put little flats on the side. When I screwed the heads on, it should lock this in place too. So I have the head on the machine. The two faces screwed on. I'm just basically Making it nice and pretty now. I ain't gonna do anything fancy. I like the way it looks. Just gonna get it all nice and even now. So I figure I'd bring you back with a fresh battery. One little low spot. Speed up. I'll bring you back now. Speed up the lathe. I won't let you wait for that. Alright, bring you back for hopefully the final cut on this side. Slow down the feed. So I'm going to get a better finish here. I'm just using a high-speed steel bit. Just took the stone to it. Looks like it's going to do a nice cut. A little shinier than the one before. It's a hammer. I'm not going for perfection. Now flip it around and do the other side. Looks pretty good. I'm happy with that finish. Got bronze shavings everywhere now. This is heavy. It's going to be a nice weight to this hammer. Yeah, let's see how close I come to my finished cut. Yeah, let's see what the repeatability is. My test piece I did yesterday I got within 2/10. But I was being a little more careful than trying. This time I'm just flying. So we'll see. It's looking pretty good. I might try to go find some rubber, plastic blanks, make some soft faces. If I find a chunk of aluminum, I'll make an aluminum piece. It should be pretty straightforward to adapt anything to it. As long as I can tap it for 3/8 18, I'll be happy. Let's see how close I am. Perfect. This little lathe is amazingly precise now since I spent a day or so making it precise. But, I mean, can't fail with the fingernail. So that's a pretty good repeatability. Well, there's the finished product here. I'll polish it up. And then I'll have to go downstairs and press in the handle. And like I say, I unscrewed the faces, pressing the handle. When I screw the faces back in, they should center the flats and lock it in place. I don't think that's needed, but I figured, hey, after I put it all together, I noticed the ends were sticking out a little too far, so I had to cut down the studs a little bit. So then I figured, hey, I'd make some flat spots on the handle. Now lock it and help it lock it in place more. So I'll bring you downstairs and hopefully set the press down there and show you that. Alright, got everything I need. We'll take a walk. I'll show you the walk downstairs to the other shop. I have to do ever I need stuff downstairs. That's why I call it the upstairs machine shop. That was one flight, and now we're on the second flight. And this is the coolest light switch ever. I got this off SD. Just a gear that shuts off the regular switch. Works pretty cool. I liked it. I forgot how much it was, but if you look on SD, I think the guy still sells them. It's like 25-30 bucks, but it's a good idea and I liked it. Okay, down in this basement's a disaster. So there's my press. Let me clear it off and I'll bring you back. Alright, bring you back to this is the Harbor Freight press that Lori bought probably 1991 or so. I had my own repair shop way back in the day. And the only thing I ever had to do to it, sorry my screen's, is the seal for the release is a rubber O-ring seal. It wasn't leaking from the machine part, it was leaking around the outer edge of the seal, so I just had to take it off and goop it in place. And that's all I've ever had to do to this press. And it's done axle bearings, it's done everything. Now it's my little one, so it's in my basement shop. I definitely got a bigger one at the garage, but don't need two at the garage. So this ends up buried down here, but come in handy. I mean, this stuff, you can put this in a vise, slam it in with a hammer. You don't need a press to do most of this little stuff. And red Loctite, these little containers, they come in, I think what do we always get them in? I forgot, at the shop, a lot of parts come with the little Loctite. And I use the big bottles at work, but I bring these little things home. They're one-time use. You know, this one's been opened before, so I've used it more than once. Comes in handy, because you know, if you open the big containers, sit around, I mean, it won't dry up, but usually clogs up. It's always a pain to use. So I make do with these little ones. So I didn't do any measurements on this, so I'm hoping it's not too tight of a fit. I wanted a nice tight fit. It's a hammer, I don't want the head to fly off, but I might have to machine it down, sand it down a little bit, line up my flats here, and hopefully this presses in without anything breaking. I don't know what brass will do if it's too tight of a press fit. Feels perfect. I think I could have got better if I measured it. If I measured it, I probably would have been off, because I would have been trying to hit a number. But so that's perfect. So screw on the handles here and all the faces. And they might have to be, the stud might have to be cut down if I didn't cut the flats. Yeah, that's going to be a gap, so I just have to grind down the top of the stud just a tad. So I wanted a nice tight fit on the handle. Same with that one. So I'll go back upstairs. Well, I haven't grinded down here, but I'll go back upstairs and hopefully get those to line up perfect again. I'll bring you back. I won't make you take the walk. filmed over in this corner. This area needs a little reorganization because I had to move things around when I moved all the machines around. I just moved the grinder and the wire wheel used to be right where this toolbox is, so I moved them, haven't bolted them down yet, so it's going to move a little bit. Let's see how she fits here. A lot more. That's what I figured. Didn't want to take too much off. One side good. Do the same to the other. Hopefully this is good. And this one has a little gap in it. Might need just a tad more. Oh no. It stayed in. I wasn't supposed to do that. I'm going to Loctite these in here once I get the final adjustment done. But let's see what we got now. This is a nice heavyweight hammer. I'll have to get the scale out and measure it. This one has a little gap in there, but I think the stud probably twisted in place, so it's not bad. It has a little bit. So that's the finished hammer. Let me bring it back up, break out the scale, and we'll see how much this weighs. Alright, bring it back. Let's see here. sorry for the rest of the world. I have to do in pounds and ounces first, because that's what I want to see. And see, this doesn't look right here. 2 pounds, 13 ounces, 45 ounces for ounces, and 1,278 grams. So basically, what, 2 pound, 13 ounces? That's a pretty good size hammer. So I like it. Like I say, the faces are replaceable. I got some pieces. I'm going to try to tighten up that gap a little bit. I'll take when I take it apart to put the studs in, Loctite the studs in, I'll see if I can clean up that one little gap there. But not bad, I'm happy. Well, let me get entering this video so I can put it out there. Thank you.